From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Nikesh Rughani for the BBC in England. Everyone here still getting over the Ashes disappointment, that defeat at the hands of Australia, and dealing with sub-zero temperatures as well for the last week or so, although I'm happy to report that it is getting a little bit milder now, although we're still a very, very long way away from cricket season.
Jim Maxwell in Sydney for the ABC, and Australians are still celebrating that wonderful win in the Ashes with their second best team for most of the series, just to rub it in a bit more for England. And there's a bit of excitement this week because Alyssa Healy has announced her retirement, but her husband, the great relationship in the world of cricket, Mitchell Starc, has decided he's going to play on.
Hi, and I'm Sunil Gupta in New Delhi for Akashvani, where it's very, very cold. It was 1 degree last night, and before that it was 0.6. But it's very hot, hot, hot when it comes to the cricket, because you've got a lot of cricket going on here. You've got the Vijay Hazare ODI tournament, then you've got, of course, the WPL, and you've got the India-New Zealand ODIs going on, and the Under-19 World Cup.
Yep, exciting times indeed. But first, the fourth edition of the Women's Premier League in India is underway, and we've already seen a hat-trick, new heroes being made, injuries and last ball thrillers. Sunil, you mentioned it earlier there, the WPL. We have another hat-trick hero in the tournament. Nandini Sharma was playing only her second match of the tournament, but she became the fourth player in the WPL to take a hat-trick. What can you tell us about her?
Well, she's a late bloomer, really. She was born in 2001, so she's well over 24. She was in the fringes of international cricket for some time, but like everybody else in India, somebody in the family plays cricket, so her brother played cricket at a decent level, and she followed him at the age of 8 and tried to join an academy, and of course, as you know, being a girl, it was very difficult for her to break through. But she continued, and then she saw an opportunity in street cricket, tennis ball, and all that sort of thing. And then there's a guy, a very famous coach called Dipinder Chabra. He is the owner of the Leaders Cricket Club in Chandigarh, and he spotted her playing with boys in tennis ball cricket. And he said, actually, I saw that she had a very strong arm, and she can bowl slightly quick. So he drafted her in, and after that, she's been in the North Zone team for women's cricket. She's led Chandigarh. She was a net bowler for RCB. And this year is her first year in the WPL when she was selected by Delhi Capitals. And of course, that famous hat-trick, she was the first Indian bowler to pick up 5, first Indian fast bowler. The problem with her is, I think, that she's so excited about her personal accomplishments that she's tending to forget the big picture, which is that her team lost the first 2 matches. And as you know, Delhi Capitals were the runners-up in the previous 3 editions of the WPL. So I think she's just got to get her eyes straight, or at least her mind straight on this. But yes, what a bang she's made for Delhi Capitals in the WPL. So tell me, Nikesh, now you've been watching from England, how much did the first match of the tournament, how much did that set the tone?
Well, firstly, it's always great to see 2 franchises that an international audience are well aware of, from the IPL as well, and now in the WPL, 2 successful sides in this competition going head-to-head in the first game. But to see a thriller, a last ball thriller, is always really what will engage an audience from afar. And, 18 to win from the final over. Nadine de Klerk, who Indian audiences are very familiar with after the World Cup recently as well. She was the hero for South Africa on that occasion against India, batting with the RCB lower order, and then Natsiva Brunt bowling 2 dots to begin that final over with 18 needed, and you think, right, MI have got it in the bag, and then 6-4, 6-4. She finished 63 not out, de Klerk, and she also picked up a 4 as well, 4 for 26, a fantastic all-round performance. And many people thought after that World Cup, can she sort of carry that form forward? Is she really the real deal, or has she just put up a couple of good performances on the biggest stage to bag herself a big contract? but she's backed it up with that performance. And what a fantastic finish. 18 to win, 2 dot balls to begin that final over, and then just raining boundaries. Absolutely fantastic from Nadine de Klerk. Last ball thriller. And yeah, the crowd in Mumbai would have been disappointed with their home side losing, but they've seen some outstanding cricket. Jim, Grace Harris in the WPL, she's switched from representing UP Warriors to RCB. She was part of that side along with Nadine de Klerk. It seems to be a good move as she hit a 40-ball 85 during their win against her former side. Do you think if she continues this form, she's going to cement her place in the Australian national side for the T20 World Cup, which is in England later this year? I mean, there's lots of competition, isn't there?
Yes, but she's a great hitter. She's one of the players who must be pushing the lawmakers, the officials in women's cricket to push the boundaries back, because he hits it well over the boundary and a lot of the others do. So I think that's something that they need to look at in the women's game. Depends a bit on where they're playing, I suppose, but she doesn't make the boundaries look very short when she's in and going. And I would imagine that she's on the short list 99 times out of 100 to be playing in Australia's best team during this next World Cup. An absolute thumper. She may have a lot of grace, but you wouldn't think so looking at the way she swishes the bat.
Yeah, certainly can hit a long ball. Sunil, Mumbai's captain Harmanpreet Kaur, there's been a lot made of her in recent times, hasn't there? And a lot of that has gone away after that World Cup victory. She scored an unbeaten 71 earlier this week to take her past 1,000 runs in the WPL. Just the first Indian player to do this, only the second overall after Nat Siva Brunt. Do you think that 50-over World Cup victory has done wonders to her? I mean, she's coming towards the end of her career, of course, but there was that lull in form, wasn't there? Questions about her captaincy. How much confidence do you think she's taken from that World Cup win, and how much has that freed her up?
2,000%, no question about it. I remember I was in one edition of Stumped, and I had actually, to a certain extent, said that she needs to pull up her socks because she was in the middle of that slump. It was in the middle of the World Cup, and her captaincy was also being questioned. Nikesh, I mean, success covers over everything. I mean, once you hit that purple button or whatever you'd like to call it, you're there. And yes, absolutely everything changes for you. Your mindset changes, the way you pick up the bat changes, the way you talk to people changes. I've seen her in a couple of programs recently, where she's been with Rohit Sharma and a couple of other people, and she's much more confident in the way that she speaks. So yes, absolutely, no question. Who can forget the 2017 century against Australia in that World Cup, which India should have won? That was outstanding, and that is what she is capable of, and that what she has shown she is still capable of.
Well, speaking of the Mumbai Indians, they are the defending champions, and they've won 2 out of the last 3 editions. But what is it like being part of the team? Our Stumped reporter Charlotte Swift caught up with Mumbai Indians player Milly Illingworth and asked her how it feels being part of the franchise for the first time.
Yeah, it's been an excellent couple of weeks. We got here on the 30th, me and Nicola Carey, and everyone's been super friendly. It's been such an amazing organisation to be a part of, and it's just been exceeding expectations, and they were already super high already. So yeah, it's just been amazing. The girls are great. It's been such an easy transition.
And when we go back to the beginning, I read that when the auction was taking place, am I right in thinking you maybe missed your name being read out?
Yeah, well, I watched my name being read out first, and I was like, I went unsold. Like, that's all right. I'll go to bed. Maybe next year. Maybe it might not happen again. Hopefully I get asked to go in the auction again next year. And then, I woke up in the morning. Some of my teammates, so Izzy Wong and Alice Capsey, Izzy was blowing up my phone. She's like, oh my gosh, you've been picked up. Like, this is so exciting. And I'm like, I've woken up. I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, I watched myself go unsolved. Like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, funnily enough, I did get picked up, and it wasn't all a dream. So it was a pretty crazy 24 hours.
Yeah, I bet it was. And now you're obviously with the team. What's it like? Because, you're working with people like Lisa Kitely, obviously Harmanpreet Kaur is your captain. What is it like being in and around those people?
Yeah, it's very cool. It's just awesome to see the way that they operate. Harman, she's such a cool, calm and collected person, and she's been awesome around the group. She's such a leader. Obviously, coming off a World Cup win as captain was amazing, and she's been awesome. Lisa, it was my first time working with her this year. I hadn't had a lot to do with her. She obviously was at the Sydney Thunder. So we crossed paths a little bit. But yeah, it's been really nice to get to know her as well.
Would you say there's maybe a bit more pressure in this side because Mumbai have won 2 of the last 3 tournaments? Is there any pressure around, or is it quite relaxed?
Yeah, everyone's quite relaxed. Within ourselves, we've all got belief in each other and our own skill sets. So even though we did drop the first game in the last ball, everyone was keen to bounce back the next day, which we did. Yeah, it just shows this team's character and fight.
And I read that Shabnim Ismail is one of your heroes. What's it like, being around her?
We've crossed paths a little bit in the WBBL. She's been super welcoming and friendly, and she's taken me under her wing and teaching me all the tricks of fast bowling, which has been awesome. And she's just been such a great role model, someone that I've always looked up to.
And for you personally, Milly, how did you get into cricket? How did your journey begin?
It sort of started in the backyard and the beach and that sort of thing, as most Aussie kids do. And my dad's cricket team was a player short in the Div 2 country bush league. So I went and filled in. I had fielded maybe 20 or so overs, and I just haven't really dropped the bat or ball since. So it's sort of just gone from there since I was about maybe 11 or 12.
And you've battled a few injuries, haven't you, in your career? What's it like bouncing back from injuries?
Yeah, I've got a great medical team at Cricket Victoria behind me, and the Renegades, obviously. So, yeah, they've been fantastic in the way that I've been managed over the last few months. I think it was a 10-month stint out with back stress fracture and then some stress reactions. So just been managing that over the course of the winter. And, yeah, my first games back being the WBBL, it's been so fun to get back out in the park and play some really fun cricket, and to be lucky enough to be picked up after playing not much cricket this year. It's an absolute blessing.
Finally, Milly, how does the WPL compare to playing in the Women's Big Bash League? What's it like in terms of the environment? You'll have seen the crowds.
Yeah, they've both got so many positives. I think just being able to play against all the Aussie players and with and against has been excellent in the WBBL, and the crowds here are so exciting. Even not playing and running drinks and, just soaking in the atmosphere here has been crazy. But I think, they've both got so many positives to both, and I think the standard of both are amazing. So, I couldn't pick between the two.
That was Mumbai Indians player Milly Illingworth there, speaking with Stumped reporter Charlotte Swift.
From the BBC World Service, this is Stumped on Akashvani.
Finally on Stumped, it has been quite the week for Virat Kohli, who has displaced Rohit Sharma to be top of the ICC One-Day International batting rankings. He's also become the second highest run scorer in international cricket history across formats after his match-winning knock of 93 in the first One-Day International against New Zealand. The 3-match series is currently tied at 1-1 heading into Sunday's decider in Indore. Sunil, he's surpassed Sri Lanka's Kumar Sangakkara now and just over 6,000 runs short of the great Sachin Tendulkar, just a small margin of 6,000 runs. Look, he's getting on in years. Do you think that gap is ever going to be breached?
It's a tough question, really. I'm sure he's not thinking about that. He's not that type of guy. He just wants to be there and to contribute to the team. Sachin Tendulkar, I looked at some stats, actually, Nikesh. He played from 1989 in that fantastic test series against Pakistan, in Pakistan, when he was hit on the nose by Waqar Younis. You will remember that. He was 15. So he's been playing since 89 and retired in 2013 and played 664 international games. Kohli has played 647, and he's still 6,000 runs short. Even though there are many more opportunities because the T20s and so on and so forth are there, but he's not playing them. He's only playing ODIs now. So it's going to be a tough call. I don't think it's really in his sights right now. It depends, because he's only playing one format.
I think I tend to agree, just simply based on the fact that he only plays one format as well. Now, Kohli's former teammate Ajinkya Rughani has dismissed views calling Virat arrogant and says that it's all part of the preparation. He said what stands out is his attitude of learning, attitude of never giving up. People outside think Virat is arrogant, but he is not. He gets into the zone. He'll hardly talk with people before the match, even with teammates. That's what actually gets him into the zone. Initially, it took all the players a little bit of time to get used to this. Sunil, do you think the so-called perceived arrogance is the reason that he's so prolific, because he's so single-minded when he gets out there on what he needs to do to get the team over the line?
It's such a fine margin between, perceived arrogance and being intense and being involved in just what you're doing, not being sort of, distracted from all the adulation that you get and so on and so forth. But you must remember that India, the cricketers are heroes. He can hardly walk outside on his own. It's impossible, and that's why he and his family have relocated to London, as you might know, because he can walk around there as just a citizen, as a normal person. It can't happen here. So in a certain sense, you tend to build a little barrier around yourself. You have personal security, you have all that type of stuff. But if you look at him on the field, when he's in the field and he's talking to the spectators and he's smiling and he's doing all that. But he is very driven. I think that's the word. He's driven. And people don't understand that. It's not arrogance. I think it's intensity. I think it's involvement with what he's doing. And it's not really lifting your nose up against. He's come from a middle-class family in a middle-class neighborhood. He remembers all that. He knows his teammates. He knows everybody who's been there with him throughout his journey.
Yeah, and when you talk about being driven and being intense, I think that's what fans love about him, especially, when you look back at his Test career and when he was Test captain, and he almost needed a little bit of a spark, a little something, a little confrontation. He sometimes might create his own confrontation out there on the field just to get him up and in that zone, which was fantastic to see. Great theatre when people were watching all around the world. And I guess that was one of the reasons why Test cricket was so popular in India through that era. That's all we've got time for on this week's Stumped for Akashvani. Don't forget, you can follow us on X. We are at BBC WS Sport, and use the hashtag BBC Stumped, and check us out on YouTube too. Go to the BBC World Service YouTube channel. My thanks to Sunil Gupta, Jim Maxwell, and to all of you for listening. We'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.
Stumped is a BBC Sport production for the BBC World Service in association with ABC and Akashvani.